Our conditions majority bullish here with 14 and 14 bullish in the bull market currently. S&P futures up slightly. We've got some economic numbers here in just a minute. I'm going to talk about those. We've got, if we jump back over to SPX, we're seeing majority bullish there as well on the daily and the 1 hour time frame. We've got consumer price index and inflation numbers coming out here in about 10 minutes or so. And this price pattern looking bullish still, but right up in the upper end of the range, running into supply currently. And we'll watch to see this number could potentially be a catalyst to either push us higher or reject us around this 6,070 number on S&P 500. The breadth of the market currently sitting at 52, 53. We're stuck right there in the middle. We talk about this each morning. We're not at the extremes, but we're also underneath or right at that 50% area, which potentially can act as resistance area. Also seeing this overall trend down in the breadth as markets have been really flat for the last 3 months or 4 months or so. Let me drag this guy out of the way right here. We've got VIX, which is a little bit lower currently as of now. Again, that can jump from hour to hour, pulling back slightly right now. Bonds, SHY, the short end of the yield curve, seeing that slight bearish tone right here, starting to still angle down right here. And as bonds, majority bearish on the 1 hour, also that short end of the yield curve, we need that to move higher. These inflation numbers that we're going to get here shortly could give us an insight of what the Fed is going to continue to do and kind of their stance. That 2-year yield, not that one. This one is the yield spread or the yield curve, essentially, which is the difference between the 10-year and the 2-year. And that is still positive, but it's still relatively flat. We're seeing bullishness here on rates with this trend consolidation right here. We've got compression, could see an advancement here as short-term rates continue to climb. That could be a problem here. And if inflation numbers are not great, then we could see that happen here as well. In fact, let's jump over to that. Over here on the right-hand side of TradingView, if you've never noticed this, you've got a calendar button here, and so you can see what you've got as far as some of the updated numbers that are coming in. These numbers are coming out in a half hour or so. This is core inflation, month over month, year over year. This is the one that I wanted to look at right here. If we pull in this chart, and you can see where this inflation number has been going. Currently, the core inflation 3.2. We've been all the way up and around that, pushing that 7 number. But if we look back here historically and see, inflation going back to the 50s, 60s, and this strong rally and then this pullback. This will be interesting to see if we're seeing a shift in this inflationary trend to be pulling back and then getting something more like this, a really sharp rally up in the 70s. This was the 1970s, and then a potential big pullback right here. And if we get a big push up like this, if the trend is shifting in inflation, it'll be interesting to see this overall trend currently, because now we're just pulled back to support right here. And so that number should be coming out here shortly. And again, that calendar, it'll give you earnings information as well, earnings update, anything that's happening for the day on in economic calendars. Let's jump over and look at the 10-year. Actually, let's go back to TLT and see. We're seeing that one also majority bearish on TLT. That's the long end of the yield curve, majority bearish on the 1 hour. And that is going to correspond opposite to rates. So this is the 10-year note, which is 4.53. And again, the value of understanding the bond market is the economics behind it and what the stock market is anticipating the economy is going to do. Stocks are always anticipating or looking into the future and saying, oh, okay, if there's high inflation, then we probably, it's harder for companies to earn profits. The cost of borrowing is still high. The whole point of inflation is things are growing too fast. So the Fed's trying to slow that without killing it. And that's the balance that they're trying to deal with right here. And so far, the economy has done fine, but we're still seeing this, some of these elevated rates could be an issue. Let's jump and look at Dow real quick here. We've got majority bullish on the Dow, still bullish patterns. We're sitting right at the upper end of this trend. If we get a lower inflation number, that could be a catalyst to push us through and break out to new highs. Same with the NASDAQ as well. You can see how just really wants to hug this upper end and is pressing, waiting for that news to see if it can go higher or if it's going to get rejected right here. We'll know here in about 7 minutes. IWM, the Russell 2000, majority bearish on the 1 hour time frame, and really neutral 7 and 7 on the daily time frame there for the small caps. USO, which is the ETF for oil, gaining some strength right here. Let me just squeeze that in a little bit. You can see we're back to majority bullish on the 1 hour, bouncing off of this 50% retracement zone. It found new demand there in that range. Gold also really accelerating and breaking out of that 258 range. That's now the 236 location for any bounces or retracement. We do have a really wide expanded trend currently on that 1 hour time frame versus compressed. That compressed state typically is entry this direction when we get these wide expanded state, and then we typically will get a consolidation pause or an entire reversal. We're at that phase on gold. We'll see if it gives us another push higher or if we do get some consolidation retracement here. SLV also some bullishness, and again looking like something like this. We may see something like this on gold as it has also expanded, needs some consolidation. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to reverse. It just means it needs some time to consolidate those gains and allow for new demand to come back into, in this case, the commodity. Let's jump over and look at a couple of stocks from the screen. If you don't have access to the filters for the screen criteria, you can get those in the link description to access to our Discord server, and you can get those updates there. FTK, a confirmation bar. Nothing too fantastic, but it is solid, moving relatively tight, trending type patterns right here. FTK, a bullish looking price pattern there. Also seeing INSM with a bullish price pattern. Rally, retracement, a little bit of a confirmation bar. Really nothing, nothing super exciting right here. There's not a lot of stocks that are showing nice setups. There are a couple here as well. We'll see what that inflation number looks like here, and that'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.